Are you always coming up with ideas? Do you marvel at successful business owners? Do you hate being told what to do? Ever take things apart just to see how they work? Are you a dreamer? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Pro Tapes and Specialties is the world leader in tape manufacturing and specialty conversion with over 40 years of experience. In addition to our pro brand of high-quality specialty adhesive tapes, we provide contract converting services that help improve your profitability, streamline your supply chain, and reduce inventory cost. We offer the most complete range of converting capabilities in the industry, such as cloth tape, double-coated tape, specialty tape, paper tape, masking tape, vinyl tape,
carton sealing tape, adhesive transfer tape, duct tape, foam tape, electrical tape, filament tape, foil tape, reflective tape.
And the tape just keeps on rolling. Visit us online today at www.protapes.com or call us at 800-345-0234. Pro Tapes, it's just how we roll.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Entrepreneurial Enclave, Life's Coming Attraction. I am always pleased when I can get my mentor on the phone. Brother David Vaughn, how are you, sir?
I'm absolutely wonderful. Thank you for calling me.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, I had to call you, man, because the last time we did a taping, that episode didn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist anymore. So I knew that I wanted to get you back on the show. I wanted to tape our interview again, and I just wanted to, first and foremost, just have people to know that in your long, illustrious career of just being so many things, you took time out to write a book called A Healthier You. And so,
yes.
So that's always amazing. So we're going to jump into the book very quickly. What was the purpose behind you writing this book?
Well, people kept telling me rather, that you look so young to be your age.
Yes.
You don't look that age at all. And
yes.
What have you been doing? So I keep telling people what I do, and so many people, and then I started saying, listen, I tell you, you listen to me, you don't follow my instructions, and maybe I need to write a book to prove to you what I'm talking about.
Got you.
And so that's what I did. I put step by step what I've been doing to keep looking so young. People would always say I was 20 to 15 years younger than what I am, or even more sometimes.
Yes. Now, I love you, Dave, but there was two things in your book that I said I'm going to have to beat you up on. I love chocolate, and I love a good steak every now and then. Is that okay?
It's okay if that fits into what you need to be doing. I talk about things from a different way. That's all.
Okay.
I can't help what you love. What do you want to do? Do you want to look younger? Do you want to change? You want to be healthier? So that's what I talk about. Gotcha. I can't, lead you. I can lead you to the water, but I can't make you drink.
Absolutely.
You heard that one before.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're going to come back to the book, but I want to first talk about you just being this magnanimous, just over-effervescent person and an entrepreneur. How did all this begin? Because you didn't start out being an entrepreneur. Where does the entrepreneur desire and drive come from?
I've always had an interest in doing things for myself, by myself, and to make money doing it.
Yes.
But what I did was, while I was working in various jobs, raising money, working in corporate America, and running corporations, I decided that I need to do something that people have been saying to me all along. When I cook, invite people to dinner, they say, how did you fix this? What is that all about? And so forth. So I started cooking. And next thing you know, I've got a catering company. And next thing you know, I'm catering all over the place. I got more customers than I can handle. So I had to hire people. So it started that way. And I said, well, catering is doing well for me. And I need to be doing it full time. And that's what I did. I opened a catering company, and then I started doing weddings. And then people kept asking me about, do you know much about where we can go on our honeymoon. And so I have a very dear friend who had a travel company, and he taught me everything there was about travel. So my company expanded from being just a catering company, but a catering, travel company, and a special events company.
Wow.
And that became my big business. And I did it in New York. I moved to Atlanta and opened the same company and did twice as much as what I was doing in New York.
Wow.
And that's my business. And that's how I got into it.
Wow.
If I didn't have the dream, the hope, the desire, and the stamina to do it, I wouldn't have done it. But I had nothing but love and good luck with all of it.
Yes.
I tell you, God's been guiding me every step I take.
Absolutely. And blessing you, right? Because black don't crack. You look good, though, cousin. I'm calling you cousin.
Oh, yes. Yes, sir.
So, but because I think you and I met when you were working for Coors Brewing Company, right?
You're right. Correct.
And
Yeah.
So when I met you, I was starting out to put together a little fledgling production company myself. And so I was so great for your mentoringship and just for you allowing to come under your wing and just to show me the ropes. And so that was a wonderful time. But I think at that time, but prior to that, you were also working for Off-Track Betting, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Now,
I went from Coors Brewing to Off-Track Betting Corporation.
Yes.
The gift there was that we had our first black mayor in New York City, and he knew that I knew business working with Pfizer and Coors, and asked me if I would come to run the only business that New York City had that was not like any other government project.
Yes.
So New York City Off-Track Betting Corporation was a private corporation owned by the city. A lot of people didn't know that. So I came in as an executive director and chief operating officer to bring the organization up to the level it should be, instead of just an operation that gave out free jobs to folks in a political party. That's what it used to be. And when I got in there, they were like $60,000 in the hole. And when I got in there, the first year they made $30 million, which they should have been making all along.
Wow.
Yep.
Now
So I did that as long as I could.
Yeah. Now, does the corporation still exist as a?
What happened? It did exist when I left. It existed, but the next person that came in who was Republican did what they used to do before: hired people who weren't qualified, just gave them jobs, and didn't do it seriously. And in his time in office, 3 years later, the whole corporation went out of business.
Wow.
There is no more New York City Off-Track Betting Corporation.
Wow.
It died.
Yeah. Because Mayor, that you're talking about the first African American, that was Mayor David Dinkins, correct? Right.
David Dinkins is the one that I was working with, and we brought that to where it was. And it was really a good opportunity for the city to get money to help themselves do what they needed to do, and didn't have to pay for it.
Yes.
It was free money.
Yes.
And they budgeted things that they were going to do with that free money, and it was all to help the city.
Yes.
And different organizations. But when the next person, Giuliani, came in, he just gave jobs to Republicans who didn't need the jobs, and people who were supposed to have been retired. A lot of things he did that were wrong. And that corporation died. It was no longer a corporation.
Wow.
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
Now,
it's
closed.
Yeah. Now I want to move back to Coors. What brought you to Coors Brewing
Well,
Company?
I was working with Pfizer Corporation for like 10 years, and Coors offered me a job to come and help them bring their product to my people, black people, Puerto Rican people.
Yes.
It was something different, and I took the job on, and they gave me a lot of money to go around and talk to people about the company and prove to them that it was not a company that had any issues with labor or with race and so forth. I did that for 3 years.
Yes.
That's before I went with Dinkins.
Yes.
And within those 3 years, I discovered that, no, this is not the way it's going.
Yes.
They're not. They are. They are what they are.
Yeah.
And I could not change that. But I had an opportunity to give some of the monies to black organizations to do what they needed to do. And took that also. I took the opportunity that came to me from David Dinkins at the time. After 3 years, I knew that I couldn't change the role of that corporation in America. They're still going to be what they're going to be.
Yeah. But listen,
I'm trying to use clean words.
Listen, this is an adult podcast, but listen, I thank you because that's through how I met you, and that's how we had a wonderful, wonderful relationship. Now
Right.
I want to jump back into this because I introduced you as my mentor. And one of the challenges I've always had in my life, in my career, is having strong men around me to kind of guide me, to give me the insight. And so I thank you. How important is mentoring in the Black community?
Extremely important.
Yes.
You know, a lot of us don't grow up with the perfect family,
Yes.
fathers and mothers. A lot of people grew up under different circumstances.
Yes.
And sometimes if it wasn't for somebody else out of your family who cared, you would never know the difference between right and wrong.
Yes.
It's so important in mentoring, wherever you can do it, in the church, in the community organization, even in your block. If you see someone that needs help, or you can share with them, and you can see the sparkle in their eyes when you talk about different things, that you know you need to help them. And I think that's what mentors do. They help those who need the help and share with them their experiences so they can be better in their lives.
Yeah.
It's very important to any Black man right now to
Yes.
mentor not only your family, but anywhere.
Yeah.
Because the world is changing. And now that it's uncovered how far Black folks have come and how much Black people were held back, mentoring is very important because folks need to know the right from the wrong and to plan their lives accordingly.
Yes.
Because doors are opening, you know, the ceilings have already been broken, but now
Yes.
doors are opening and we need guidance. And I think it's what mentors do. They guide you and help you and direct you.
Absolutely. And I thank you for continuing to be such. Now, listen, because I think at one time, and I know my memory is fading me, you had a nightclub, right, in New York City. I think we talked about that before.
Yes, we did. The whole thing about me doing my catering, I explained to you that I was with Coors Brewing Company.
Yeah.
And they were doing all kinds of events.
Got you.
And sometimes I couldn't find the right caterer for the events so they can show off their beer and products.
Got you.
That I did the catering myself.
Yes.
So that's how I started. And in doing so, there were a bunch of us who got together. Some of us, my Black brothers, got together and said, look, let's own our own club. Bring the product into our own club.
Yes.
And we did. We got together and put a club together down on downtown on, I think it's West 43rd Street.
Yeah.
It was really where the old, what's the name of the theater? Went out of my brain. Town Hall.
Okay, yes.
You know, Town Hall had a top floor, which was great for catering and parties and clubs, whatever. And that's where we opened our club, right there.
Wow.
At top of Town Hall, and it went well.
Yeah, I remember coming there quite a few times, man. I enjoyed myself.
Yes.
Now again, now we talked about mentoring. How important is entrepreneurship in the Black community?
It's extremely important. We have to provide, you know, for us, by us.
Yes.
You heard that one before.
Oh,
That's what that's all about.
Yes.
We don't have to work for everybody. We can work for ourselves.
Yes.
And we need that opportunity. We need to share that opportunity. We need to go ahead and grab it if it's there available for you, but you got to have the dream and desire to want to do it yourself.
Yes.
That's what being an entrepreneur is, not working with anybody else but yourself and planning how you want to do it. Because some folks get into it and they don't understand. I don't mean entrepreneur like selling the wrong things on the street.
Yeah.
I mean legitimate things where you can have people on salary, pay people, help people, you advise people, and do what you can.
Yes.
But I think it's extremely important. And we know about us as a people all through the country.
Yes.
We've owned stores, we've owned products, we've done a lot of things. And we're becoming more inventful every year, and there's a lot of things that we do. So I think it's important for us to be a part of this American society where owning is a part of it. It's not just teaching, not just living, but owning is a part of it. And that's what entrepreneurs do.
Yeah. Now, I know that we're not going to talk about this, but I want to talk about this. But you also had a brief singing career, or you still sing, right?
That's a long story. I started out as a singer in my church when I was very young.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Baltimore.
Okay.
And in Baltimore, we had a music school called, went out of my head too. We had a music school down when Peabody was the name of it.
Okay.
And my teacher in the 12th grade told me, David, your voice is so great, you need some more training. And they sent me on a scholarship to Peabody School of Music. And there I learned all kinds of classical music,
Yes.
as well as the music I had been doing myself at church.
Yes.
And I stuck with it. I did the best I could. I learned roles because I wanted to sing one day at the Metropolitan Opera or something like that.
Yes.
At that time. But what happened was, in the midst of my doing all my training, even my teacher said to me, very individual instructor said, David, I don't know why you're learning all this music, because they're not going to let you sing beside any white damsel on the stage. I don't care what kind of role. So, I mean, it affected me.
Yeah.
It really affected me. And so what I did was I did what I could and let it go. I let it go. But I didn't lose my desire and my dream.
Yes.
In fact, to add to the story, my sister, who's 8 years younger than me, came behind me.
Okay.
With a tremendous voice, played piano, organ, all that. And she went to Peabody. And when she got out of Peabody, she did not even worry about it. She went right to Europe.
Wow.
My sister went to Europe and been singing in Europe for the last 45 years. Won't even come back here for the same reason.
Wow.
Because, of the prejudice during that time.
Yeah.
But when I got to New York, there was a group called Opera Ebony.
Yes.
I don't know if you ever heard of it.
No.
These were blacks in opera.
Okay.
And they pulled themselves together and put on operas. And we had major people supporting us. Have you heard of the name of Leontine Price?
Yes. Oh, yes.
And Marian Anderson.
Yes.
And we had Hilda Harris.
Yes.
And there are about 8 other opera singers who gave us $500 every year to support what we were doing. Had a lot of them. So that's how Opera Ebony started, and it was black opera singers who supported us because they knew the role.
Yes.
And so while I was there, I could go around and raise money because I had the story I could tell.
Yes.
I sing a little bit, but I still would raise money, tell them why I couldn't use my voice.
Yes.
And that was a good fundraiser for the organization. So I did that for 20 years. Before I retired and came to, I'm not retired really, before I moved from New York to Atlanta to pursue more careers.
Yeah, entrepreneurs, you know this, David. Entrepreneurs never retire. We just go on to the next opportunity,
That's
brother.
exactly right. Exactly right.
Now, the last time I had the podcast, you didn't mention that part, but man, that's fantastic, man.
Oh, there's so much I haven't talked about. I don't think about it, until somebody asks me. Yeah.
I just when I relaunched the podcast, I had a chance to interview Vi Hickinson. And that was another fantastic interview.
Oh yeah, we were dear friends. I knew it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
But did I tell you how we became closer friends?
No, you got the platform. Talk to me, brother. Come on.
Okay. Well, she was doing Vi Hickinson was doing her newsletter. I can't remember the name. New York Unique.
Okay.
I think it was and I was working with a guy named Ron Bunn, who put together a magazine called Roots.
Yes.
Roots, a guide to black entertainment.
Okay.
But he knew that I was a writer and I was an English teacher way back when and so forth. So he asked me if I'd be his editor. And that's what I did. I got to be his editor of the magazine.
Wow.
It was a fabulous magazine. And it was all about black folks and what we were doing all over the country. I had editors that I knew from all over, not just editors, but writers and people who were interested. And we had various people introduce themselves and write for us free. Now, we were a threat to Vi, but I told Vi, no, you got New York City. We have the country. We just talk about some parts of everything.
Yeah.
And I had the support of Ed Lewis at Essence.
Yes.
He knew what we were doing. He said, David, it's a good thing. It's avoid, do it.
Yes.
Because he belonged to the same church with me. That's how I knew him before I got there.
Okay.
So I did that with Ron, and I did the best I could and had all the support I could, but I wasn't the publisher.
Yes.
I was the editor.
Okay.
And like we do in life, certain things happen that make people jealous.
Yes.
Rather than supportive. He was jealous of my ability to do just that and asked that I leave, and he wanted to be the publisher and editor himself.
Wow. Take
now,
on both roles.
We started out, I've got the first 5 magazines. We started out beautiful.
Yes.
Supportive. And I said, you need to get your job is to sell. Your job is to get ads. I'll do the inside.
Yes.
I'll do what's between the covers. So anyway, that didn't work out. He misunderstood the pressure of it all. And I left, and he went from color to black and then to a 2-page magazine, whatever it was. But it was lost.
What?
That I wanted to do. Yeah, it was fabulous. Ed Lewis from Essence, David, this is great what you got.
Yes.
And that man knew what he was talking about, because you know what Essence has done through the years.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and they thought we were a threat. We weren't. We had a niche that nobody had.
Yes.
So anyway.
Wow. Yeah, because I just recently met with her up in Harlem at Red Rooster.
Yeah. She was really, not only that, but she was in theater like me.
Yes.
And she directed plays and wrote some plays. She was just excellent. Yes. Great. Also, personnel on radio.
I didn't even know.
She's a radio personality too.
Yeah, she told me about that.
Oh, she
was. WBLS.
That's right, WBLS. Well, she was on the radio. I was trying to do on TV.
Gotcha.
I had a talk show on black entrepreneurs.
Okay.
That went on my head again. I'm can't remember everything.
David, you are
I did a talk show, and she was on the radio show. We just enjoyed each other's company. Everything we did.
But David, listen, man, you are like this golden onion, man. Every time we talk, you just pull back another level, like all these nuggets. I didn't even know that on the talk show.
Well, you keep living. You keep living. That's the main thing. And I just never stopped. You couldn't push me down.
Yes, sir.
I found the next thing to do.
Yes, man. Mm-hmm. So here's my next question then, man. Having done all that you've done, what is your motivation, man? Why do you do what you do?
Well, I think my motivation was my grandmother.
Okay.
And my mother.
Gotcha.
The boy, you represent not just this family, but the block, community, and the race.
Yes.
And there's nothing you can't do. Just take God with you in everything you do.
Got you.
And that's what I've done. Everything I do, I pray.
Yes.
I say, God, order my steps.
Yes.
And I keep going.
Okay.
And I'm 83 this year.
What?
And I feel like I'm 43.
That's all right.
I'm still going.
Yes,
I still jog. I still do my stuff. I teach a class of exercise at my church for seniors, 55 and over.
Okay.
And I'm the oldest one in the class, and I teach it. I just keep at it.
Yes.
You just don't stop.
Man.
And so you retire. I didn't retire. I retreaded.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, David, this is so refreshing. Oh my God! And
I haven't talked about what I do in Atlanta. I'm not going there. You just know me from New York and New Jersey. I know.
Yeah. Well, we got time for the Atlanta piece too, but man, this is fantastic, man. So, because oftentimes, man, we sit back and we talk about what do we have to give to the community. And I see that you have given so much to the community and you continue to give. Now, I wanted to pick up on something. I think if I've interviewed 100 people, out of the 100 people, maybe 99 of those persons always talk about how they became who they are through their faith and perseverance through Christ. Why is faith so important in the black community to black folk?
Well, it has to be because we've had nothing but hope. There's nothing determined. There's nothing permanent. There's nothing you can make for sure. But we have hope.
Yes.
And ask God for guidance.
Yes.
He gets us where we want to go.
Yes.
Because there are plenty of ways and opportunities for us to fall.
Yes.
Plenty of opportunities for us to fail.
Yes.
But if we keep the hope alive, you heard that one before.
Oh, yes.
We keep hope alive, we keep going.
Yes.
And if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have made it at all. I mean, I started back in the days when we were doing sit-ins.
Okay.
So I've seen every kind of opportunities for us to be knocked down.
Yes.
And not do what we can do. And I didn't accept any of them. I just kept going.
Wow.
And that's it. Christ has been in my life all my life.
Wow.
I pray a lot.
Yes.
And I ask him for deliverance. I have no fears.
Yes.
Because I know God is with me.
Yes.
You understand? I don't even think about the negative. I stay positive.
Got you.
People think about what would happen if. I said, what is going to happen is.
Yes.
I'm just the opposite.
Yes.
So yes, I think faith is very important. If you have no faith, you have no idea where you're going.
Got you.
Okay.
Very true. And thank you. And you know, now I guess my next question is, 5 years from now, what is David Vaughn doing 5 years from now? Looking at the crystal ball.
Let me say this.
Yes.
Right now, I'm working with Americolor Opera Company in Atlanta, which is the only black opera company out there.
Yes.
That the person who wrote it, organized it, she's the composer and musician. The name is Dr. Sharon Willis.
Yes.
She's written 13, 15 operas, and I was able to direct all of them. I work with the National Association of Negro Musicians.
Yes.
That's a national organization. I work with the local musician association, MAMA, the regional, and the national. I'm still pushing music. I'm writing an autobiography right now. I'm in the middle of it to tell you what happened to me from 1939 up to 2020, whatever I stopped. That's giving me something to do as well. Okay. And then I am also teaching to seniors what they can do other than sit in the chair and rock and roll in a chair. And I'm spending my time doing that because we need to get off our ruts and do something.
Yes.
Because if you don't use it, it wears out. So these folks, their problem. And then that's where my book comes in. When I talk about things like fish and fowl and things that grow.
Yes.
Here's what you need to be eating.
Yes.
And greens and all colors. Leave the white stuff alone.
Yes.
All the stuff that I say is to help preserve their energy and them to live a long time. So I'm going to spend my next 5 years teaching and preaching about how you can live a better life by doing some things different.
David, man, listen, what you just rolled down for me, man, that's tiring, but that's encouraging and inspiring. Man, that's all right. Because sometimes, man, I just do one job and I said, I got to sit down today.
No, you got plenty of time to rest when they put the dirt over you.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Oh, my God. You are such an inspiration. So now, for anyone out there who's looking to be an entrepreneur, who's wanting to be an entrepreneur, what advice would you give them, Dave?
First, they got to really want to do it first.
Yes.
And they got to really pray about what it is they want to do. And they got to plan what they want to do. If you don't put it down on paper, it ain't going to make sense. You just can't walk around just spouting it. You got to really plan what you want to do.
Yes.
Know what resources you need, what finances you need, what staff you need. You have to know all those things before you step out there. The idea is great, but you got to plan it.
Yes.
And then you got to have some faith in your skills and ability and the people around you as well.
Awesome.
You all got to be on the same accord.
Yes.
So it's everything is doable.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to take the time and do it right. There are no shortcuts to success.
Yes.
You have to do what you have to do and do it right.
Now, what challenges have you had in your illustrious entrepreneurial career that you had to overcome?
Well, the main challenge I had to overcome was racism in everything I've ever done.
Got you.
That was the main, and I just got over it because I've seen the color only, white only signs from my childhood up, and I knew they would disappear one day. And I've seen lots of things that have happened, but the main thing is to understand that you're still an American.
Yes.
You still have that opportunity. Even though people are knocking the doors, closing the doors, whatever, so you don't get there.
Yes.
But that is still your opportunity for you to grab and do what you have to do. You can't be held back. You can't be you can't have your feelings destroyed by other people's attitudes towards you.
Yes.
You still got to stay strong in yourself.
Yes.
And in your faith and get things done in such a way. Now, prejudice is something I did not create. That's somebody else's problem, not mine.
Got you.
Because I still love everybody.
Yes.
That's old-fashioned, but that's what my grandmother used to say to me. Mm-hmm. No matter what, God is love.
Yes.
God is not hate.
Yes.
You don't be the judge and the jury. God will take care of them. You do what you're supposed to do.
Yes. It'll
work every time.
Now,
so
do you?
I don't know if I answered your question, but those are my feelings. I just want to share with you.
No, you did, Dave. You did. Now,
okay.
So, but my next point is, So here we are in 2022. Do you see or do you think that race relationships have gotten better or worse?
I think they've gotten better.
Okay.
Because they wouldn't talk about them before. Now it's everywhere.
Okay. Got you.
There's so much black on TV. There's so much of our history on TV. They're showing all the facts that we've known as a people are now being exposed.
Got you. Okay.
And I know Black Lives Matter. That's stepping really out from the back to the front.
Yeah.
And it's working, you know. And you see here in Georgia, they had two races, you know, and the black folks got out there to make sure that the folks that needed to win won.
Yes.
Because we're not sitting back anymore. We're going to do what we have to do. This is our world too.
Yes.
You know, it ain't just Mr. Johnny's world.
Yes.
You know, we don't call him Mr. Johnny now. We call him Johnny. It's different. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, he's in the big White House down there, but it ain't the same.
Yes.
So when he doesn't have us in the back picking cotton.
Yeah.
We're doing what we have to do. Well, we own cotton mills now, and we've owned the manufacturing companies now. So that's it. We just have to look at things differently because black folks have come a long way.
Yes.
I've seen it changed from Negro to colored to African American to black. I've seen all of it.
Yes.
But we have come as far as we need to go, and there's more to do. So,
and that was interesting what you just said, the progression of what they used to call us. Wow. Yes.
On my birth certificate, it says colored.
Wow.
Okay. My mother was a colored lady.
Yes.
My father was colored laborer. My father was.
Wow.
And my father was a Cherokee Indian.
Okay.
Didn't matter.
Wow. Wow.
That's right. So we've come a long way, and we still got more to do.
Yeah.
But we have to stay active and be an American. Yes. And we don't have to be fighting and fussing. We need to just do what we have to do.
Yes.
Know the law, live by the law, and do what we're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. And praise God while you're doing it.
Absolutely. Now, are you? I guess you're still mentoring people, right?
Oh yeah, I do.
What are some of the challenges that you face when you're mentoring? Because I still do some mentoring too, but and I how do I phrase it? How do you become a good mentor? How do you become a great mentor?
Well, mentoring, it takes time.
Yes.
And there's many aspects to it. For one, I volunteered to do some things at my church, and I volunteered to do some things in the neighborhood. You don't know when you're really mentoring.
Okay.
Because it's not sometimes, unless you have a job or mentorship.
Yes. You
don't know when you mentor. You're just sharing with people what you know and how you can help, and that's what you do. And people watch you.
Yes.
So many ways to mentor. And then I've worked with some smaller corporations. They've asked me to come in and be on their boards. I've done a few things to help folks to do what they have to do. And that's it. You just do what you can, you know. And there was no book of instructions for me. This is how you mentor.
Got you.
It came from my heart. It came from my understanding of life, and I just shared what I could share, and I still do it.
Got you.
You know, so, and I've lived all these years. I've seen the prejudice. I've seen it change.
Yes.
And I can advise what I think is going to happen next, and it sure does every time I say it.
Okay.
And that's all I can do. And my goal is to make sure that my people are doing what they're supposed to be doing in this life and can make the best of this life that God would allow them to do.
Yeah. Now you said you're working on an autobiography. When is that due out, Dave?
I'm trying to get it done I was trying by the end of this year.
Okay.
I really want to be finished.
Okay. And then are you going to go on tour with the book?
That depends. I'm getting ready to work with a publisher and see what I can do. I want to go on tour with it, yes.
Okay.
What has happened to me is I started writing the book, and every time I get to a certain part of it, I forgot something because something comes up.
Okay.
I look at TV and I see some stories about my people, and I forgot I was there.
Wow.
I forgot I saw that. Wow. I forgot I met him. And all those other things, it's just so much.
Yes.
that I have to sit and record and write all day long, and I'm still trying to put it all in there and make it all fit so it can help somebody, teach somebody, or instruct somebody as to how to live through the things I've done.
Well, you know what might be good, Dave, right? Is write the book as you feel it now, right? Mm-hmm. And then once the book comes out, you can do like a Zoom meeting so you can fill in at that moment what you're feeling to kind of like bridge the gap, right? Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah. That's been said to me before too.
Yeah, man.
And it's just I'm trying. That's why I'm trying to finish about the end of the year.
Gotcha.
It's the reason is I'm not sitting at my computer just writing every day.
Understood.
I got so many things on my plate.
Yes.
When that's all done, I sit and do that. Sometimes I wake up at 2 a.m. and start working on it.
Okay.
Because I keep a busy schedule. Yeah. Like I tell you right now, I'm in New York City. I'm not even in Atlanta.
Wow.
And several things I have to do here.
Yes.
And then I'm going back and have several things waiting for me when I get there. So, yeah, I'm going to do what I can, and what I can put in it, yes. I add to it when I do my rounds of talks wherever I go.
Yes. That's the key, man. Keep what you're doing alive, but at the same time, like you said, you're coming up with snapshots that there's something else that triggers that. So that might be the best way to bridge the gap, man. But listen, Dave, I just want to thank you for your time, man. And I mean, you have truly been a blessing to me. And I say this with the utmost love and respect. When I say mentor, friend, you have been that and more. So I definitely love you, appreciate you, man, and just nothing but continued success and blessings, man. Yeah.
Thank you. But I want to applaud you for doing this. I mean, you are doing some help to all the community. All your listeners are learning through you. If it wasn't for your desire and your dream to do that, we wouldn't be doing this ourselves.
Thank you.
But I thank you for reaching out to me and inviting me to help you.
Absolutely.
And to talk with you.
Absolutely.
And so I applaud you for what you're doing.
Thank you. So let's do this, Dave, before we end. If people want the book, A Healthier You, how do they contact you, or how do they get the book?
Well, they can do it several ways. Yes. Of course, everybody's on Amazon.
Yes, okay.
You can get your book there. But if they want to get it individually from me, they can write me. They can write me at dvaughn101@comcast.net.
Yes. Okay.
Or how else can I tell them?
No, that's it. Or they can reach out to me, and I can
reach out to you. Yeah. Right. That's great. Yeah.
Okay. So David, listen, you will not be a stranger on this platform. I got you now, and so we're going to talk. We're going to touch bases periodically because I know I want to hear, and I know the listening audience wants to hear about the progress that you're making with your autobiography. And they certainly want to tap into your energy, brother, because, man, this is some awesome energy you are spouting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Brother David, I love you, man. Nothing but continued success, man. All right?
Okay.
All right. We'll talk and text soon.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That concludes another episode of The Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. We hope you found this episode informative and enlightening. If you have any questions or comments about any of our episodes, please call 609-731-9311 or email kevin@minding-our-business.com. We look forward to joining us for our next one. Until next time.